Hello, I'm Robert Clark. Welcome to my workshop. About a month ago, I made a video where I was using one of these Morse Taper 2 MT2 arbors with a soft end, machinable end, to make a simple adapter to mount a centre drill in here, and to turn this, because it has a taper on it. Obviously, it's not going to fit in the chuck of the lathe, so I fitted it directly into the Morse taper inside the spindle. Now, doing this, the worry is that you've got an exposed thread here, which the chuck normally screws onto, and you wouldn't want to have an accident and drop something onto this and damage the thread itself. So what I did at the time to protect it was use a catch plate, and I just screwed that onto the thread here to protect it, and then was able to put the Morse taper arbor through the centre. Now, I did mention during this video that a lot of lathe manufacturers, particularly lathe manufacturers in America, make spindle nose thread protectors, which can be used for this very purpose, to protect the thread from damage. I asked if anyone out there knew if anything like this had existed for the Myford Lathe, sort of commercially manufactured, and to let me know if they knew of something. I had already looked at the Myford website, but there didn't appear to be anything offered by them in that respect. So I just really left it at that. I did say that really I should look to make one myself, but although I've been using this lathe for some time now, I've not really taught myself to thread cut on a lathe yet. One reason is I haven't really had any project where I've needed to do this. Mostly it's been fairly small components where I can literally just use a die to cut the thread. But obviously it is something in the future or near future I must teach myself to do. Well, one of my viewers and subscribers obviously saw my video and contacted me and actually offered some suggestions on what I could do to protect the thread here, perhaps modifying a plumbing fitting or using a piece of plastic pipe and adapting that to fit over here. But we had a bit of a conversation about it, and then eventually he offered to make one for me. Now, this very kind viewer is David Ticehurst. His YouTube channel is Dave Ticehurst, and he's a retired engineer, I think a tool setter, who's actually retired to Australia, which made things, if anything, a bit more complicated, really. But anyway, the offer was there, and obviously I was very grateful for his offer. We had a number of conversations about this, and he managed to find a technical drawing of the spindle nose on the internet, which he messaged to me so that I could come into the workshop and measure the thread and the spindle and everything else to make sure the dimensions on this drawing were actually correct, which they were. So this was fine. So he set to make one for me. This obviously was, sort of 4 weeks or more ago. The complication, obviously, is getting this item to me. There was at one point a thought that somebody was going out to Australia that was going to link up with David, and he would give this to him to bring back to the UK. But in the end, I think this was still going to happen, but in the end, David decided to post it to me. Post being what it is, and it did take rather a long time for it to arrive to the UK via, I think, Singapore. and then it took a few days to come from customs to me. Luckily, customs didn't charge me any duty or VAT on it. It just came through through the usual post office. But anyway, these items arrived today. Obviously, I messaged back to David straight away to let him know they had arrived. And he had made not only one, but two. He'd made one which originally said he was going to make out of aluminium. I mean, an examination of this is so beautifully made. Obviously, David is a very, very skilled engineer, you know, with all those many, many years, 40 or so years of experience, has got into making this with a beautiful knurled grip round it. And this screws on nicely onto the, if I can get it started, nicely onto the spindle. And obviously there's an opening here so that I can still insert a morse taper tooth through the centre. I won't push that right in because it then needs a bar to push that back out again, but it's absolutely wonderful. So any jobs that I'm doing in the future that I need to put a morse taper into the spindle, I mean, I can add this on. The other thought from my side is that when I'm coming out to use the lathe for a project, I'm not quite sure which chuck I would need fitted to the lathe. So I thought, well, I could probably leave the morse taper, the spindle protector on while the machine's not being used, and then when I come out to the workshop, I can put whichever chuck I require onto the lathe. You know, 3-jaw, 4-jaw, a collet chuck, or whatever. So I mean, I may do that. The other one is made out of a familiar material, I suppose, to everyone. It's Delron, which is machinable plastic. This one goes on okay, but it is a little bit tighter. And the thought from David is that it may be the extreme cold conditions we've got here at the moment. He's in obviously a very, very hot climate there in Western Australia. So this may ease up a bit. I mean, it does go on, but it is a little bit harder to remove than the aluminium one. But again, this is also beautifully made. I don't know if Delron can be knurled or not, but what he did was machine some scallops into here to give me a grip to take this on and off. So beautiful items that he sent me. It means I haven't got to use the catch plate anymore. But I know a lot of people use a catch plate. I did at one point think of trying to buy another catch plate and machining some of the outside off, but that did seem a bit of a waste because these are actually quite. I mean, the one I've had a few of these. One of which I modified to take a chuck. They are actually quite expensive, even second hand. So it'd be a shame to ruin one just to do this particular job. But anyway, I want to use this video also to thank David for very kindly making not one but two of these for me, and going to a lot of personal expense on his side to send these items to me. And when I did obviously offer to pay him the carriage on sending these over, but his reply was no money will change hands. So if you're watching this, David, again, thank you so much for making these and sending them over to me. I'm very, very grateful to you. Now, if anyone else watching this video isn't familiar with David Ticehurst's YouTube channel, I would strongly recommend that you take a look, because a lot of the videos he makes talks about the various machines and tools he has in his own workshop. He did an excellent machine shop tour as well, which is absolutely fascinating to see the equipment he's got. He took, I think, a lot of the machines out to Australia with him when he retired out there. He had a Tom Senior milling machine, which he took out, which could be used horizontal or vertical, and he bought a brand new Taiwanese-made milling machine, the most beautiful thing, which he shows in his videos as well. And the lathe is absolutely stunning. It's a Hardinge lathe, which was absolutely wonderful. I mean, I loved my Myford lathe, but the Hardinge lathe is absolutely fantastic. And he's demonstrated some special accessories that he has for the machine, genuine Hardinge accessories. But a lot of the videos he's done more recently are on techniques for doing things in the workshop. Some of the things he's shown in these videos are not things that you would necessarily find on other channels or written in books. They're, I guess, techniques that are passed down from the old timers in workshops to the younger apprentices, and I imagine that all these tips are things that David has picked up over the many years that he was working in the trade. Well, I hope that's of interest to you. It was a fantastic thing for me to have these, you know, they're such beautiful objects, really. And when I wish I had the skills to be able to make something half as good as this, really. But there we are. You know, I've got the choice of either using one or the other of these. Anyway, opportunity also to thank all the subscribers to my channel and all the kind comments I'm receiving, and helpful advice helpful advice from David. David's obviously looked at a lot. I don't know how he found me on YouTube, because I've only had a YouTube channel now for about 7 months, so I'm sort of very new to this. But he's obviously saw my channel, and a lot of the videos I've made, he's often commented on and given me lots of extremely useful advice. Some of these tips are things that I have tried out, most of them, and you can imagine how useful this advice has been. I'm most grateful to him for that. Anyway, thanks again for joining me in the workshop today, and hopefully I'll have another video for you very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye for now. Hello, I'm back again. I'd just like to make an amendment to my video. I made a mistake on David Ticehurst's location in Australia. He's actually in southern Australia, not western, as I said. Sorry, David.